Just like a star, Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, stands tall, sharing boundaries with Delta State to the west, Rivers State to the south, Enugu State to the east, and Kogi State to the north. The light of the nation, it is called, pride in itself with 21 local government areas. Rich in natural gas, crude oil, bauxite, and arable soil, Anambra State is one of Nigeria's food baskets. But challenges are limiting its potential. With a lot of link roads to different parts of the country, Anambra's dream of connecting to the northern part of Nigeria through smooth roads is still a mirage. Many years after the Otuocha Anam Nzam-Ibaji Federal Road was flagged off, the project has still not been delivered. The signpost stands in a corner, stating the project and hopes of its completion, but Anambra Indigenes wait on. The dual road, meant to reduce travel time between Anambra and Abuja by at least 2 hours, and open up communities along the route to enhance trade and commerce. The asphalt work has been done to some extent, and we notice ongoing construction of the road. At this section, erosion is tearing at the edges of the road, eating slowly and swallowing the red earth. The gullies threatening to divide the road into two in no time, a risk for commuters. This is the point where the tarred road ends, leading us into a dusty patch. Only a few vehicles pass here. Most parts of the road are inaccessible when it rains.
Ordinarily, this would have been a very economically viable local government. We have oil, we are the food basket of this state. But there is no road. No, this road, it is 88 kilometers from here to Lokoja. So you can imagine the impact it would have had from Umueze to Lokoja is 88 kilometers. Even it will ease traffic on Niger River Bridge, on River Niger Bridge. All this talk of second Niger Bridge and all that, you wouldn't have bothered to go to Delta State if you are going to Abuja. If this road is done in 3 hours, you are in Abuja from here. If the road is done, our people will have a way to evacuate their farm produce. But now, nothing, so we will always have glut. We have fish here, we have everything. We have oil, yet we are abandoned. Abandoned not just by the federal government, but by the state government also.
We're now on our way to the Anambra West local government area, which can be accessed through land and water. Through Aguleri, we're making our way to the local government area, which locals tell us is one of the least developed in the state. Down this path lies the Omambala River. The area overlooking the popular river is filled with a lot of dirt. The canoes are lined up neatly, waiting to carry passengers to and from Umueze Anam, the entrance into Anambra West local government area. The river is the only barrier between Aguleri and Anambra West local government. Omambala River holds many histories for Anambra State, but the peninsula, the landline between the River Niger and this river, is inhabited by the Anam people and the Igala-speaking people of the Anambra West local government. Since Nigeria gained their independence in 1960, it is yet to fully harness the potential in the tourism sector. This is the Omambala River, where the state Anambra derived its name from. But it's supposed to be a tourism site for the international community, but it is still devastated, and the people are just managing the resource they have to get across the river to their various destinations. I am on this journey with my guide, and it was a moment of reflection on what the locals call marginalization and the wasting opportunity.
Omambala River is where Anambra State derives its name from. This is one of the most cultural heritage we as Anambrarians and Omambala people have. But unfortunately, we've not been maximizing the potentials you can see around here. We are expecting that the government would have made this place a tourist center. This time, we're thinking of how to diversify our economy, both the internal generated revenue of the state and the federal allocation is dropping seriously. What do? We look at sectors where we have potentials to harness, and this is one of the sectors. I believe if well harnessed, we generate not just local currency, but international currencies, foreign currencies for the state. We are believing that the Tourism Board of Anambra State should be able to look at this area. You can't talk of Anambra State without talking of Omambala River.
The coastal communities are again dreading the rainy season. Surrounded by 3 rivers, the topography is flat in nature, making it prone to flooding when the waters overflow their banks.
Most of these places will be submerged, but I see a way forward. How do we come out of that perennial rainy season where the entire community will be immersed in the water? If we drain this place, the sands that we are gotten from this place could be used to fill part of these places that have been submerged, and it becomes an upland. And then if it's an upland, what do? People begin to build there, and the tourists, when they come, they'll begin to see the beauty. Just like what happens in the Venice and some other European countries. You can see a ship that can navigate in the streets of Venice. It's still possible we can do it here. All we need to do is just to create these channels. You get it. So this community that is usually submerged won't be submerged anymore. And people will be looking at the beauty, the ecstasy of the environment. Coming to just behold the nature itself generates money for us. So I don't see the reason why we'll be saying that we don't have enough internal generated revenue for the state and for the local government, when the potentials are there, begging us to come and annex it.
This rusty signpost that welcomes us to Anambra West local government area, the food basket of Anambra State. Umwezianam is quiet, perhaps from the air of uncertainty that pervades the atmosphere. The communities in Anambra West local government are blessed with fertile land for agricultural produce, farming and fishing. Sadly, this is not enough to lift them out of the quagmire that they find themselves in. But what's responsible for the state that Anambra West local government area finds itself today, despite the yearly allocation from the federal government? The local government secretariat is at Inzam, another community, but Umwezianam hosts the makeshift local government secretariat. The Star of the Sea Health Center and maternity doubles as the makeshift local government secretariat. Star of the Sea Health Center is by no means a star. Its signpost has fallen. The environment looks unkept. The hallways are all dusty and empty. Torn, dusty nets are visible. Everywhere is deserted. The wards are dirty, and we notice empty bed frames. The structures are filled with a generous display of rusty. Surprising is the fact that human waste are all over a place supposed to be in the most sanitary of conditions. Seeing the condition of Umwezianam, we set out to other communities through the 10.2-kilometer Imiata-Nzam road, meant to link the agrarian communities. It is still under construction after many years. The roads are in a deplorable state. The Imiata-Nzam Bridge project was designed in 2008, but had to be redesigned after the 2012 flooding due to the high water levels. It was abandoned for some years, and just when locals had lost hope of ever getting connected to the urban areas of the state, the project continued. But the slow pace of the work has stalled its delivery.
There was an executive council meeting where a directive was given to the contractor to go back to site. That means more money will be mobilized. The rains affected the pace of work. The rains ended late, only in December. So this year we understand the rains will come back early. So in response to this situation, the governor decided to provide funds so that work will resume.
Drive through slowly through Umwenewelum Anam, a familiar signpost in almost all the communities under the Anambra West local government. A moderate warning of the pain, taste of dust and red earth, bumpy path, and collapsed infrastructure evident in every corner. Our first port of call was the Fountain of Life Secondary School, set up by a man who is passionate about imparting knowledge into students. But the conditions here are not conducive for learning. 2 study sheds built to house the students. The chirping sound of birds echoing in the background. The corrugated sheets for the shelter have holes, and its pillars are bamboo sticks. Classes are demarcated by barriers, but the barriers are not thick enough to block the teachings from the other classrooms. While some have uniforms, some other wear mufti to class. Ironically, the private school is not registered yet with the government, but it gets its own share of core members who help with the work. On a daily basis, Aloysius pleads with his students to buy books to aid their learning, emphasizing the importance of education.
We have 3 secondary schools in this community, but I can say that I have population enough. And also my school is this site. If you can see the other school in the community, if from my school, from here to the community, you can trek it, if you're trekking, 15 minutes trekking. Back 200 naira, 300 naira to the upland if you want to go to school. That's why I want to put my own and I ship this school to the camp on the way to our local government, so that those inside the bush, those that inside the local government or on the way camp, they can be benefited. But still, we are lacking behind because of money to build the school in order to be attracted these people around us.
Meters away from the run-down school is this public school with a new building in place, but no one seems to be here. The road has become more narrow, filled with red sand, as we start to approach our destination, Inzam. The environment also suffers the impact as vehicles leave dusty trails behind, putting commuters at the risk of respiratory diseases. Today, sons and daughters of Anambra West local government who live and work outside the local government find it difficult to get to their ancestral homes because the roads are usually impassable and seasonal. Abandoned cars have been repainted with dust. It's a hard time at sections of the untarred stretch, giving cars a hard time. A situation that has left economic activities struggling for survival. It is past 4 p.m. and these women are taking a long journey by foot back to Inzam, but clearly they are frustrated with the fact that transportation here is difficult.
I nwere ego, I nwere highway n'obodo a ifu dust kita na-eko unu kita. Ọ dịrọ mma afụ ka anyị na-atazi n'obodo anyị. Ọ dịrọ mma ọ suppose unu akwụkwọ dị ụzọ dị ihe niile dị anyị nwee ego. Ị na-anụ anyị wee na-anwụrụ ndụ. Nke a kita ọ nwere ife dị iyi ka anyị si ife na ebe anyị mụ iyi ka anyị si ife ifuru ọkịta nke m butere kịta ka m na-eji wee tofe tata tofe echi mụ na ụmụ mụ na di m.
We are approaching Inzam, and another signpost gives you the now familiar warning to drive slowly through the community. Just like Umwezi Anam, Inzam community is not bustling with activities. The people are relying on natural instincts to survive, losing faith and not expecting anything from the federal and state governments. Inzam, made up of about 8 villages, fits this description perfectly. Most of its inhabitants are farmers and fishermen.
Biko na ayatogo nkai no ifa na ojo ma okwadiro ile na do ma adiro so biko ana yo nu kudu mera yo ma biko nde melo jo na melun ka be trust di biko ekene mun.
Electricity is a luxury that they do not enjoy despite the presence of many installations.
This town, I don't stay more than 30 years for this town. You see, I've never seen light even one day. All this pole is not working. It's not working. The pole is just, I will just call it, it's a picture. I will call it a picture, ordinary district. Just put it there, nothing, no light, nothing. I don't know whether we are in Nigeria or we are in Anambra State. I can't tell.
I don't know in Nigeria any of the local government headquarters that had no electricity. I don't know. Even if there is, it may not be more than 3, and we are among them. So the state government is not doing enough. The local government is not doing enough.
We are recognizing these and we are addressing them. In the next couple of months, you begin to see reasonable changes in Anambra West local government area.
In a time of economic diversification, Where local rice production has peaked, Inzam community depends on these manual rice mill to get their produce fresh and clean to the market. It's a serious task, one that requires a lot of strength. But this could have been made easier if electricity was available. Finally, the engine revs and milling begins. This is their way of life. Numerous sacks of rice are in every corner of this shed. They are owned by different farmers, waiting for their turns to go through the mill.
We're supposed to use other machines, but we are using this one manual because there is no electricity to power the engine. We can mill up to 80-100 a day. But if there is electricity, we can do more than that. The main thing that pains us very well is that when we mill the rice, how to move the rice out. Our road is not motorable. But by now, we can move, but because of due to the bad road now, we cannot load rice and move as we suppose. At times, we use boats to cross to Delta to sell our rice because there is no road to convert the rice to Onitsha. So something that we're supposed to sell 500, we sell it 200 naira because there is no way to take it out.
This is the modern primary healthcare center in Inzam. While it does look modern, the facilities therein may not be different from those in the Stone Age. Only 2 persons provide services to the entire community, and there is no doctor in the facility. One of the rooms here has beds that are not in good condition, even as other mattresses lie stacked in a corner. And when the rain decides to pour from the sky, some sections of the roof leak. These are pit latrines for patients, just outside the main building. The security architecture in Inzam is almost non-existent. Even the divisional headquarters of the Nigeria Police, located in the community, is begging for attention. Weeds are all over and the building looks abandoned. A security vehicle, perhaps faulty, is grounded with its tires flat. Who will save Inzam, as well as other communities in Anambra West, from the problem that they have found themselves? The big gates ajar, the surrounding decorated with weeds of different species. There is nothing here to indicate that this is a government structure. A small path leads inside. There it is, the signpost of Anambra West local government area, sitting in the weeds. Another one is almost falling. The area is deserted. We're in the Anambra West local government headquarters in Inzam, and this is where it's expected that, if not all, most of the civil servants working in Anambra West will be housed. That's the secretariat that you see behind me. And we're here to see if the civil servants are here at work. It's some minutes before 11 a.m. Buildings that have maintained their aesthetic value are short, and weeds are gradually creeping in. The main building is empty, with weeds and dirt strewn all over the place. Right in front of the building, we notice this white marking on the ground, which locals tell us are charms. All the buildings are abandoned, nothing is working. Even around, I can smell the stench of feces. It means that some persons come here to the headquarters, the secretariat, to defecate openly. So let's see if in the building we'll find some civil servants working to ensure that there's a smooth running of operation in the local government. Like We can't even gain entry into it. It is not strange to see people passing in the local government on their way to their farmlands.
I have not seen any worker here. This place has been like this. In fact, when I was looking for identification letter from this community as a student, 2004, I have to go to Otocha to get that paper. Nothing is moving. As a local government headquarters, nothing is moving. Everything as it stands still.
If they were sitting here in the headquarters, they would be able to know that there's no road to the headquarters. But because they stay wherever they are, pretending to be running a local government outside the headquarters of the local government, how can they plan? How can they know that there is no road? And so they pretend to go elsewhere and pretend that they are running the local government when they are not doing anything. No staff of the local government lives within Anambra West. How can you run a local government like that? And you don't sit in Anambra West, except to pretend to sit somewhere.
The offices of other agencies located within the Secretariat are also in a state of comatose. This is the National Identity Management Commission's office inside the Secretariat with a falling gate. The Independent Electoral Commission office is also closed and weeds have encroached, giving the gate some sort of decoration. The roofs are falling. The National Union of Local Government Employees office is also losing its color, with a rusty padlock in place, perhaps to keep stray animals from encroaching. All these buildings, where are all the employees? This is the question some Indigenes are asking. Inside one of the offices, we noticed a gold-colored coat of arms and the portrait of the former governor of the state still on the wall, intertwined with some cobwebs as well as dusty abandoned furniture, broken ceilings and window panes. In all this, the communities are not losing hope. They are holding on to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world beyond the horizon, waiting for what brings them to tears, to lead them to grace.